Good evening, Shortcuts. This is Stephen here with video 1 for the price list, which will go out on March 13th. Only a few lists to go before I take the whole of April off. Taking the family away for the month because I turned 50. This list is, I think, one of the more obscure and therefore, to my mind, enjoyable lists I've ever done. There are some things you will recognize, but I think there are some things that you will not know. And that's a good thing, I think. So for those of you who are new to Shortcuts, these videos give you a preliminary view of the price list, which will come out 9 p.m. on Wednesday, March 13th, Sydney time. If you would like to be on that list and it's first come, first serve, then drop me an email at shortcutsrecordsaus@gmail.com. Alrighty, so I'll start with something that's familiar and then we'll go a little bit deeper. Alright, I think in Australia, the story of Sixto Rodriguez is now mythical, legendary. There he is. Phenomenally popular here. And, I guess it was South Africa and Australia that flew the flag for this guy in the 70s. And this is a lovely copy of Aussie release, I think from 78. You can see the shine on the sleeve. The spine is great. Back. The record player's lovely. This is the second record, of course. And this was, what was his name? Was it Chris Hardway or Chris Spedding or something? He was a producer in the UK who heard Cold Fact and said, I want to make a record with you. So Rodriguez flew to London and he recorded with this guy with a band that is full of crack musicians. I wish I could remember his name, but he went on to discover The Cure. So he signed and maybe I don't know if he produced the first Cure album, but he was in the mix. Anyway, so this guy found Rodriguez, brought him to London, made this record, and it didn't do great. But that doesn't stop it being absolutely superb. You can see how nice this copy is, in fabulous condition. It is a little bit more direct than Cold Fact. In some respects, it's not as funky as Cold Fact. I like his voice more on this record. I think the production quality around his voice and the guitar is higher. What it doesn't have, I guess, maybe the highs aren't quite as high as Cold Fact. But I think it's still a very, very worthy record indeed. Steve Rowland was the guy who produced this and discovered The Cure. He's got a bit of history, that dude. All music and lyrics by Rodriguez. And so therefore you do get a bit of his Dylan-esque stream of consciousness in a good way. I think it's a very, very, very lovely record. And if you don't have a good copy, this one's as good as you're ever going to see. All right, something totally different. Here at Shortcuts, we do like a bit of psychedelic blues. This is Dr. Dunbar's Prescription by the Ainsley Dunbar Retaliation. So this is kind of late 60s, early 70s blues rock. Think the blues rock era of Fleetwood Mac. And you're not a million miles away from these guys. The one thing that distinguishes this band is the really heavy and quite delightful on occasion use of the organ. It's a big sound. They really go for it. It's got I think it's all their own music. I didn't see any cover versions. And the front sleeve is by the design company Hipgnosis, Hippgnosis, who of course went on to great fame with Pink Floyd and others. And you can kind of see that psychedelic glory. This is a US first press from 1969. That's it. Really cool record. All right, so what have we done? We've done folk rock, kind of dusty blues. Now we're going right into the folk era. So this is Amazing Blondell, and their album is called Fantasia Lindum. I think it's from 1971. I think it's from the same year. A couple of years after Dr. Dunbar's Prescription. This is so medieval and Renaissance. Almost looks like a photograph captured during the Civil War in the United States. I love the dog down the front. Can you see that? On the back, you've got the three guys in the band. So you've got John David Gladwin, Terence Allen Wincott, and Edward Baird. And their names sound quite close to the tenor of the music. So each side is a single track made up of lots of different pieces. And it is it has Renaissance kind of acoustic guitar, but it also has amazing singing. And the way this works is at about the 2 or 3 minute mark of a very acoustic and kind of floaty opening track, which is also the title track, Fantasia Lindum, the three guys start to sing, and the three of them harmonize around each other in a way that is not unreminiscent of Fleet Foxes, which was a record we had a couple of weeks back. As I said, interesting and different. It's on the Island label. I believe this is the Japanese first press as well, all confirmed. Yeah, Japanese first press. There you go. As I said, something different tonight. We're going to continue on that vein. What about this? This is Je suis malade by Serge Lama. This is, I think, his second record, maybe. I'm pretty sure it's his second. And Je suis malade was his signature track. And there are some French folk in our club. I'm hoping someone will email me and tell me more about this. It's got all the lyrics in French in the inside, albeit with Japanese inner. It's definitely a Japanese cardboard. It's definitely printed on Japanese vinyl on the Philips label. It's not on Discogs. And so there seems to be some weird promo version in Discogs, but not the actual record. Now, played this early today, and what you get is quite formal, almost the equivalent of a French chanteuse, but male. So you've got not quite as louche as Serge Gainsbourg, but very dramatic. Man, really interesting record. Serge Lama's Je suis malade. What a great sleeve as well. All right, now we've got two of the dirtiest, funkiest blues records ever made. Hound Dog Taylor's debut album with the House Rockers, and then Beware the Dog, his third album, which was released shortly after he passed away. Now this, those of you will recognize, this is Alligator Records, one of my all-time favorite labels, and this is the first record they ever put out. Hound Dog Taylor's and the House Rocket and the Hound Dog Taylor and the House Rockers. They recorded it in 2 nights. It cost $2,500, and you can hear every cent of that $2,500. when Hound Dog Taylor was inducted into the Blues Hall of Fame, which I think was in the late 80s, early 90s, I remember reading a long time, it was a while back, but it was something like, he couldn't play, but by God, he could play it well. And in his case, he is quite unique and absolute. And this live record is a belter as well. If you don't know your Hound Dog Taylor, he's a Chicago blues legend. Love him. All right, now we had some folk, kind of older folk rock earlier. Now we get something that's a little bit more modern. We all know how much I love Vinyl Me Please pressings, especially when they're on their Essentials track, because it's where you get all the best goodies. So Bright Eyes, I'm Wide Awake, It's Morning, which includes a song that was on my wife's wedding list, one of the songs that we danced to. Lacquer's Cut by Cicely Balston at Alchemy Mastering at Air Records. Listening Notes booklet featuring Conor Oberst and Nate Walcott. And an art print by Butch Hogan. This is still sealed. I have a copy of this. It's just a beautiful record. If you don't know it, give it a spin. And then I've got a couple of soul and jazz classics to come. 1958's Cool Struttin', Sonny Clark. I think still probably the most accessible and enjoyable jazz record of the 50s. I think it's from the second the first opening riff begins, which you will all recognize. This record is a delight. It features Jackie McLean, a very young Jackie McLean on alto sax, playing, I think, the most melodious and smooth that he's ever played. I don't think he ever played as well. And of course, the legendary rhythm section of Paul Chambers and Philly Joe Jones. Cool Struttin'. If you don't know it, dig in. It's fabulous. All right, what about this? The Soul album, Otis Redding's 4th record. I think without any, it's not even close. By a mile, that's the best sleeve that he ever used. It is one of the greats. Look at that. It is so beautiful. And it's an utterly gorgeous record too. You know, by this time, Otis Redding had really found his lane. Brilliant album. Not a single clunker. If you don't have it, dig in again. It's great. And then finally, one of mine and therefore Shortcut's little kind of hidden treasures. Loleatta Holloway's Cry to Me. Again, another beautiful sleeve. And the Japanese invested in such high quality sleeves. What it meant is that they retain their character, but they don't lose their form. And that's partly what makes them just such a delight. Anyway, beautiful, big, boisterous soul record. If you like a bit of drama, Loleatta Holloway, Cry to Me. So there you have it. What a list. Renaissance folk, blues, jazz, classic female soul, classic male soul, and a really great Vinyl Me Please essentials in there that I think fits the tone of that particular list. As always, please subscribe, comment, let me know. If you're someone who knows all those records, I certainly didn't. I've had some fun investigating those, and hopefully there'll be some people out there to love them. Any questions, or if you want to know more about any of the records, just let me know. Anyway, I hope you find that enjoyable, and thanks as always.